Business is really hard, but animals are really smart. So what can we learn from animals to help us with business? Here are 3 spirit animals you need as an entrepreneur. Spencer, what's number 1?
So before we go into the first spirit animal, I'm going to give you an animal that we don't want to embody, and that is the fox. In his book, Good to Great, Jim Collins talked about the hedgehog concept. Quite a simple concept, but really, really powerful. Now, the fox is very cunning. It's very clever. It's very smart. It tries lots of different strategies and techniques in order to get what it wants, in order to win and get and kill the prey that it's looking for. But the hedgehog knows one thing, and it does that one thing really, really well. It rolls up into a ball, pulls out its spikes, makes sure the fox and any other predators can never get to it. So that one thing, that hedgehog concept of knowing one thing is the most important thing that an entrepreneur can do, because it gives you focus and it makes sure that you're on that track towards success. Now, it reminds me of a great t-shirt that I saw that was worn by the co-founder of Waze, and it said the main thing is to make the main thing the main thing. Okay, so when you're in business, you've got to really get that laser focus. You've got to make sure you're driving towards that one goal, that one focus, because otherwise there's no way that you're going to succeed. Now, here's the thing: how do you find out what that main thing should be? Okay, and for anybody it's different, but there are 3 things that you need to be looking at. You need to be looking at your passions. What drives you? What motivates you? What do you love doing? What's your purpose? You need to be looking at your experiences and your skills. In other words, what's the thing that you can be the best in the world at? And you need to be looking at what drives your economic engine. In other words, what's going to make you money. So those 3 things of passion, your previous experiences and skills, and what drives your money, that's the thing that you should be focusing on and make that the main thing. That is your hedgehog concept. Number 1 spirit animal, the hedgehog.
Okay, so they say that the sign of an intelligent person is someone who's able to hold 2 opposing ideas, one in each hand, and still be able to function, right? And know that both of them are true. And so our second spirit animal is kind of opposed to what we just said, but still it's really, really important. So Spencer, what's number 2?
So spirit animal number 2 is the chameleon. And of course, you're absolutely right. It does look like it's in opposition to the idea of the hedgehog, because a chameleon's special power is that it can adapt. It can change its colour to its surroundings, or depending on what it wants to do. If it's looking for a mate, then it's going to brighten up its colour. So it can adapt. And that adaptability is so important in business, so important as an entrepreneur, because you're constantly going through battles of change, constantly hitting barriers, constantly looking for new ways of doing things. And if you're not looking at adaptability, then it means that you're not going to be able to keep up with the other people that are around you, with the other businesses that are around you, and you're going to start to lose. It's a combination of flexibility, which is your desire, your willingness to change, and the other one is versatility, your ability to change. So have you got what it takes in order to change yourself, in order to change direction? So yeah, holding those 2 opposing or seemingly opposing ideas together is a really difficult thing, but I think it's something that you have to do. If you want to make it really simple, let's look at the Lean Startup. The Lean Startup it's got a great concept about pivoting, about whether to change business ideas or stick and persevere. If you think of your vision as being the hedgehog concept right at the top, that should never change. That's who you are, what you're good at, and what makes you money. But the strategies and all the strategies and tactics of what you do and how you serve your audience, that can absolutely change all the time.
Brilliant, so that works well with the chameleon and the hedgehog. We've managed to wrap that in together. So the third one, this one's a little bit left field. If it's good, I think Spencer said he was going to take credit for it, but if it's bad, I think it's my idea apparently, right?
Absolutely. So here we go. The dung beetle. The dung beetle is your 3rd entrepreneurial spirit animal. And okay, why? Well, the dung beetle is a resilient character. It's an animal that basically pushes poo around, right? And it does it for its reason, but it's very resilient. It's very tenacious. It's very determined. It will push bits of dung like 2 or 3 or 10 times or whatever it is the size of its own body. And the key concept here is taking that idea of resilience into your entrepreneurial endeavors, making sure that you bounce back. Now, the idea of resilience is basically getting up one more time than you fall down. And there's a really interesting concept that Paul Graham from Y Combinator talks about, which is that any business is going to be successful if you just don't stop. If you don't stop, you will be successful. And of course, that means there's a whole load of things. You can't run out of money. You've got to make sure you're building something that people really want. But actually, if you don't stop, then you will be a successful entrepreneur. So there's a couple of other traits of an entrepreneur that I think are really important. One is innovation and creativity. I think that comes down to that idea of adaptability again, but it's making sure that you're creative with value and you're adding value to people's lives. I think the third one is about experimentation and having this mindset of experimentation and learning. You want to be learning as quickly as you possibly can. The people that learn the quickest are the people that are going to be the most successful. And then the third one is that idea of leadership and getting a great team that are going to follow you on this journey together. They're the 4 traits of an entrepreneur. Mate, I think we've just covered off the 3 spirit animals. We've gone a bit all over the place through some crazy animals. Have you got anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I've got one bonus animal for you, and this one I think is more important than ever. So this one is the caterpillar. So we're going through lockdown, we're going through this crazy time. I think it's been a perfect time for us to kind of prepare and get ourselves ready for a transformation, so that hopefully after lockdown happens, we're going to be ready to transform into a beautiful butterfly. And actually what I think this does is helps us look at the situation through a different lens and change our perspective on the way that we're seeing it. So instead of it being like a negative thing, maybe this could be a whole beautiful thing that is the thing that enabled us to make the change that we needed to make all along. So be the caterpillar as well and transform into that beautiful butterfly after this lockdown, and make sure that you're doing all the preparation that you need right now to do that.
And mate, look, I can't help but I've got to say this. Tell me again the thing that we've heard so many times, but I think it's worth reiterating. Tell us your mum's quote that kind of just epitomizes exactly what you said.
I'll wheel it out again. She says, "No hay mal que por bien no venga." And what that means is there is no bad from which good does not come. There is no bad situation from which you cannot turn into a good one. So that's what this one is that we're right here now experiencing. So I hope that you all too are trying to find ways to turn it into a more positive one. And I hope you liked the 3 plus the bonus spirit animals that we shared with you today. Let us know which one's your favourite in the comments below. Vote for it. The hedgehog, the chameleon, the dung beetle, or the caterpillar. So yeah, we'd love to hear which one's your favourite in the comments below.
I am, by the way, I'm going to put this out there. I'm saying chameleon. The chameleon for me is the most important thing, regardless of being an entrepreneur. Adaptability is probably one of the biggest strengths anybody can have right now.
I think the dung beetle, when the ball rolls down to the bottom of the hill again, you've got to be able to get back up and start pushing that back to the top of the hill. So that's my vote. But as we always say at the end of these videos, like, subscribe, tell your friends about it, and do all those other things we're supposed to tell you. And until next time, we look forward to seeing you, or I hope you have a fantastic week or whatever. We look forward to seeing you next time
week
on the Spen and Nick Show.